Hi guys! Today we're going to look at numerical patterns and we're going to answer the question, how can you identify a relationship between two numerical patterns? Go ahead and open your textbooks to page 387. We're going to identify the pattern and then we're going to create ordered pairs, and then we're going to graph the ordered pairs onto a coordinate plane. So this is taking what you've learned in the past week and just adding a little bit to it. So let's look at our problem. On the first week of school, Joel purchases 2 movies and 6 songs from his favorite media website. If he purchases the same number of movies and songs each week, how does the number of songs purchased compare to the number of movies purchased from one week to the next? So we're going to have 2 movies and 6 songs. So that's our first pair right here. Our second pair, if he continues to do 2 each time, then he's going to have 2 plus 2 is 4, and then 6 plus 6 is 12. So our second pair is going to be 4 and 12. So we can see here, how many movies does Joel purchase each week? He's purchasing 2 movies. And how many songs does he purchase each week? 6 songs. And because he's purchased them, he owns them, they don't go away, which is why we end up doubling it from 6 to 12. And then we add 6 again. Because these 6 songs don't disappear the second week. They stay there. We just add another 6 to it. And then we add another 6. Same thing with the movies. We have 2 movies, they don't go away. Someone's not coming into your house and stealing your DVDs just because you bought 2 more DVDs. No, you now have 4 DVDs. So we do this pattern. We have 2, 4, 6, 8. For the songs, 6, 12, 18, 24. And we know how to do patterns and we know how to count, so this is quite easy. And so then we make our ordered pairs. Week 1 is 2, 6, so week 2 is going to be, we said 4, 12. Week 3 will be 6, 18. Week 4 will be 8, 24. So now for each number pair, we're going to compare the number of movies to the number of songs, and we're going to write a rule to describe this relationship. For each related number pair, the second number is how many times as great as the first number. So how do we get from 2 to 6? This is 3 times greater. And then we look to see, does this rule apply to every single week? Is 4 times 3 12? Yes. 6 times 3 18? Yes. 8 times 3 24? Yes. So it is 3 times as great. So the rule is that, I'm going to erase this. Sorry guys. I need to scroll down. So the rule is songs are equal to 3 times movies. So he buys 3 times as many songs each week as he does movies. Makes sense because movies tend to cost more than songs. So from one week to the next, the number of songs Joel purchased is 3 times as many as the number of movies purchased. Okay, so we did this by looking at the sequences, which is very much the same as what we did with fractions and when we multiplied and when we looked at our whole numbers. We wrote numbered pairs, okay, where we just take them in order. okay? And then we look at a rule, just like what we did with fractions. So we make a rule. Going to the next page. When Alice completes each level in her favorite video game, she wins 3 extra lives and 6 gold coins. What rule can you write to relate the number of gold coins to the number of extra lives she's won at any level? How many extra lives will Alice have won after she completes 8 levels? So here we have all of our data, and we're looking, and we can see that we're counting 0, 3, 6, 9, 12. We're counting by 3 here on this top level. And then the gold coins, we're counting by 0, 6, 12, 18, 24. We're counting by 6 here. So each one of these we count by 3. Each one of the coins we count by 6. And then we have to look to see how do we get from this number to this number? How do we get from this number to this number? And when we look at our rules for this unit, we're looking at multiplication and division. So don't even think about adding and subtracting. Okay? So we look to say, what is this number going to be? We have to figure that out. And so the way that we figure it out is we look at the rule. Well, 3 times what equals 6? 6 times what equals 12? 9 times what equals 18? 12 times what equals 24? This number should all be the same, and we can see that if we multiply by 2, or if we're going to look at it this way, the lives to the coins, or if we're looking at it this way, which we have to because we don't know this number, how do we get from 24 to 12? Well, we divide by 2. And so then we say 48 divided by 2 is 24. Okay? So to look at that step by step, in case you didn't understand what we just did, the first step was what you did. We looked at the left of the table and we completed the rule for how we could find the number of lives. So we could have just looked at the rule, add 3. Okay? So 0, this is plus 3, plus 3. Let's pretend I wrote plus 3 all the way across. Okay? From one level to the next, Alice wins 3 more lives. So we could have just continued going 3, 6, 9. So we could have gone 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. We could have went ahead and counted all the way until we got to the 8th level. With the gold coins, we have 0 to 6, 6 to 12, 12 to 18, 18 to 24. We see that she's adding 6. And that's what we looked at here. Okay, so this is just looking at step by step. How did I get that 3 and how did I get that 6 in case you were lost up here at the beginning. Then we write our numbered pairs just like we did on the previous page. So we're not going to write these ones. Okay, we're going to write these ones. Okay, write the number of pairs that relate to the number of gold coins to the number of extra lives to the number of lives. And the reason why we do that is because it's how many extra lives will she have won. That's what's blank. And so because of that, this needs to be our y. So this is our y and this is our x. Okay, because this one is the blank one and that's the one we're trying to find. So we have 6, 3. So 2, we're going to have 12, comma, 6. And then 3, we're going to have 18, comma, 9. And then level 4, we're going to have 24, comma, 12. Okay. So go ahead and pause this if you still need to write, because I'm going to move on and delete this and scroll down. So now we're going to complete the rule. And so the rule is what we did up here where I said multiply by 2 or divide by 2. And we're going to think for each level, the number of extra lives is 2 times, oh, this is switched. the gold coins, go ahead and cross this out and write gold coins, and write GC for gold coins is 2 times as great. Or we could think, don't do that. Or you could think that the extra lives are, because we do know fractions, you could say 1/2 is great. So then your rule is divide by 2. And then Alice will have won 24 extra lives. Okay. So the number of extra lives, the lives is half the amount of this. Do you guys see how that works? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you to go ahead and I'm going to pause this real fast. I'm going to put the answers up here. So what I want you to do is pause the video, Mr. Will, work through these 3, and then check your answers in just a moment. Okay, so you guys should have all done this. The first one was really easy. We see that they told you the rule for counting by 5 here and the rule for counting by 10 here. So under 5, you should have gotten 2550. And then the rule, what they're looking at is they tell you multiply by what? Well, here we see 5 times 2 is 10, 10 times 2 is 20, 15 times 2 is 30, 20 times 2 is 40, so 25 times 50 is 2, so multiply by 2. Here, they want you to multiply the number of books by something to find the amount spent, so you know that you're going to go from the top to the bottom. So you're looking for the pattern, and we see that we multiplied by 4, so 24 times 4 is 96. Here it says divide the weight, so now we're going from the bottom to the top. So we look at how do we get from the weight to the number. So 30 divided by what equals 10? Well, that's super easy, and we can see that it's 3. So then we just check 60 divided by 3. Yep, yep, yep. So 360 divided by 3 is 120. Okay, so that is the end of today's lesson. It's quite an easy one. What I would like for you to do is do numbers 4, 5, and 6 on your own. Mr. Will check them to make sure you did them right. And then for your homework, I want you to go ahead and do the homework pages for this. This is 9.5. Do the homework page, both pages, the review page as well as the regular page for this, since this is such an easy lesson. Okay? All right, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day today on Friday, and I look forward to seeing you all in math class on Monday. All right, and by seeing you, I mean by seeing you here in the videos. Okay, so talk to you later. Missing you guys. Bye.